Our topic for seminar is demolition of buildings. So what is demolition? Demolition or razing is the science and engineering in safely and effectively tearing down of building and another artificial structures. Demolition contrasts with deconstruction, which involves taking a building apart while carefully preserving valuable elements from the reuse process. As we know, the life of building is about 80 years to 100 years. When this design life of building is over, then the structure is not safe for living neighborhoods. Therefore, demolition of building is important. So there are four steps in building demolition process. First one is surveying. Second is removal of hazardous materials. Third is preparation of plan. Fourth is safety measures. Surveying of buildings for demolition. Surveying means study of different parameters of the structure and its surroundings. There are two types of surveying. First one is building surveying and second one is structural surveying. In building surveying, following things are studied. First, types of construction, material use, usage of building prior and present during demolition, the presence of wastewater, hazardous material, matters arising from toxic chemicals, flammable or explosive and radioactive materials, etc. Next. Also, drainage conditions and possible problems on water pollution, flooding and erosion, shaded facilities with adjoining building, including common staircase, partition, walls, adjoining pedestrian and vehicular traffic condition, the sensitivity of neighborhood with respect to noise, dust, vibration, and traffic impacts. Structural surveying. In structural surveying, following things are included: the method of construction, the structural system and structural condition of basement, underground tanks, or underground walls, the original structural system employed in the design, the condition of the building.
So next is removal of hazardous materials. If hazardous materials like asbestos minerals, petroleum contamination, and radioactive metals are found in the investigation of site for demolition, specialized personnels are called for the removal of hazardous materials from the site prior to the demolition of structure. Preparation. So the preparation of demolition plan for structures is a detailed demolition plan is made which illustrates the different processes involved, and they are the location of the building to be demolished, the distance from the building to demolished to its adjacent building streets, structure and significant street furniture, the structural support system of the building. So next is preparation of demolition plan for structures. So we have to prepare a plan for demolition of structures. The point number one is a plan showing the procedure for the demolition of building, detailed sequence of demolishing structure members, and the method of demolition to be adopted. Next point is a plan showing all the precautionary measures for the protection of the public, including hoardings, covered walkways, catch for platforms, catch fans, scaffolding, protective screens, and safety nets. The third point is method of handling demolished public debris. And the last point is time required for the complete demolition process, etc. Next is safety measures during demolition of building structures. In this, all the safety measures are the first one is all the workers, site supervisors, and engineers, including plant and equipment operators, are briefed with potential hazard and process of demolitions. The next one is all goods that are flammable and removed from the site unless it is used in the work involved. All the flammable material like wood, timber, fuels, etc. are stored in proper storage facilities, firefighting appliances, and stationed in the demolition site till the process is completed. Safety measures. Then next measure is due to demolition of structure, many problems are faced by workers such as exposure to dust, chemical exposure, heat stress and ventilation, noise exposure, medical and first aid facilities, sanitation, and occupational diseases. To overcome this problem, suitable measures are undertaken.
Demolition methods for buildings and other structures. So there are two methods for this: non-explosive one and explosive one. I will explain about non-explosive one. Next slide. Uh, Non-explosive demolition method. It means the demolition of the structure is done by some equipment without use of explosives. So these equipments are as follows. First is the sledgehammer. So sledgehammer is a small handle hammer used for demolition of small walls and single column. Excavators and bulldozers. These are big machines used to demolish buildings of small sizes. They are used for excavation of soil and transferring of debris to truck, etc. Raking balls. The buildings with a higher greater height up to 6 story cannot be demolished with the help of excavators and bulldozers. In such cases, cranes with raking balls are used to perform the demolition activity. The raking ball is a crack attached with a huge steel ball hanging from the steel rope. This steel rope is pulled and released towards the building. The steel ball with the first strikes and the buildings and the parts of the building is demolished. But this method is not recommended as you cannot control the raking ball once it's hits the built structure. That's why it is not recommended. High reach excavators. High reach excavators machines are used to demolitions of tall buildings where demolition by explosion is not possible. The building of height up to 300 feet can be demolished by this type of machine. High reach excavators can be used for different use by doing some attachments such as excavators with shear attachments, hydraulic hammers, and remove steel reinforcements.
Explosive demolition method for building structure.
Video.
Implosion. Sorry. Implosion method of building demolition. Implosion is the process of demolition of a building using explosive. If the supports of the building are removed, the structure collapses. Using implosion techniques, the main supports of the building, such as columns, beams, and slabs, are fixed and explosives. When these explosives are denoted, the column collapse, and so is the structure. Depending how the structure falls, there are two types of implosion: falling like tree. In this type of implosion, the building is made to fall like a tree to the sideward. This is the commonly used type of implosion. When free space is available beside the building, this type of demolition is prescribed. If the free space is available on the left side of the building, the implosions are set on the lower level of the building on the left side of columns. As the explosives are denoted, the column bursts. The building tends to falls towards the left side. Steel cables are tied to the building to control falling direction of the building, falling into its own footprints. When the free space are not available around the building and the structure around the building are to be protected, this type of demolition is used. In this type of demolition, explosives are set in the floor below and the middle part of the building. These explosives are to be heavy as the explosion much demolish the building at once. If the if one part blast and followed by another, then the building falls towards the first blast part. So only less companies in the world are experienced in this type of demolition. As the explosions are denoted, the upper part of the building destroys and falls upon the lower building. Due to the heavy load and the force, the lower part of the building are also collapse and falls on its footprint. Thank you.